Sara Nahmias in Ventura, and there's JR's photo. So I just wanted to catch up with you. Years have gone by. I can't help but to bring it up. Sara's meditation was a meditation that I didn't know anything about you. I immediately bought the packet. I was at Prana. This is my 30-year cathartic working with JR. I came in '88 with him, and it's 2018, and he's passed 4 years ago. I'm going to celebrate his 84th birthday. Can you touch on some of the Sara meditation? You were telling me that your husband passed, and then you got into movement that way. And then, and third, can you touch on Ruben Paris, one of my favorite guys?
That's always been fun when people met me, only because I was Ruben's cousin, not Sara Nahmias. And everyone loved him. And I remember when my husband passed and he came to see me, he knew my husband quite well, and he saw what I was dealing with. He said, I met a man at a flying saucer convention, and he does seminars, and I said, Ruben, we had been together through Yogananda's group, and it was wonderful, but now no one can help me. It's just, no one can help me. And he just kept at it. And I thought, Ruben, I'm so glad you found something that works for you. But no, there's no one on the planet that could change my situation. Well, finally I thought I might as well just die with my husband. There's no reason to stay alive. But I had 3 children. How could I leave them? And it was the first time in my life I resented having that responsibility. And I didn't know where to go, where to turn. So I called Ruben, and I said, okay. He said, I'll give you his number. People just call him up. Well, I tried calling, and he didn't answer. It was an answering machine. So I thought, does that mean I have to go to see him at a seminar? I ended up going. Now, you gotta know, my life was, I was terrified of the dark. I was terrified of lightning and thunder. I was terrified of sleeping in bed alone. And here I am. Ruben says, I'll meet you, take this freeway, get off at this stop, and wait, and I'll bring you to the seminar. That was the first seminar. I was going to Michelle, oh my goodness. Anyway, Eugene, and his name was Marvin.
And Jack Reed?
No, this was in North Hollywood I was going to. So here it was, thunder, lightning, dark, in a strange place. I have no sense of direction. So I'm driving, and I get out, and the Hollywood Hills are, if anyone goes there, they have to really know their sense of direction, because I don't. And this wonderful person would meet me that Ruben arranged and brought me to the seminar at Yvonne Michelle's house in Hollywood. I see this man come in, and he wasn't anything that I expected him to look like. And he had this blue turtleneck top on, and as soon as he started talking, I said, oh my God, this is the way I always thought my whole life. This is the man that knows everything I believe in. It was amazing. And I sat there at the end, and I felt a little bit better, but there was a line forming to talk to JR. And Ruben came over to me and said, you could talk to him. Oh, I said, I don't even know what I would say. So I found myself at the end of the line, and JR just leaned over, and he said, if you'll all excuse me, I want to talk to that woman right there. And he pointed to me and brought sat me down across from me, and he said, I said, I don't even know what to say. And he said, you lost someone you loved very dearly. And I thought, oh, Reuben filled him in. Big blabbermouth Reuben. He always does that. Reuben says, I didn't tell him anything. He knew everything about my life. And when I looked in his eyes, I trusted him immediately. There was something there. And everything changed so drastically that when I went to a seminar, when I finally went to a seminar with that, before JR came in, I was there early. And then JR said to Reuben, where's Sara? He said, she's here. And JR said, the transformation, he didn't even know who I was. It was so extreme. And I lived for those seminars. I couldn't wait till Friday, because that's what saved my life. And my children, too. And they were just whatever questions you want. I mean, stories are endless.
Can you talk about how Miami, so you were in the first seminar, the Jack Reed one?
No, because it was when I got that.
Well, that's when you found out about your.
Right, my husband had the heart attack, and this voice came to me
around the first seminar that JR started.
That was the first, yeah, and I didn't know who it was. I thought, what is that? Is that me? My own talking? Everything's going to be fine. Da, 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 da. And it just kept going and comforting me. By the time I went to the hospital, I was driving, and I didn't want to turn the ignition off because I didn't want the voice to stop. It comforted me so much. And finally I turned off the ignition, and the voice did lift, and I went in to see my husband. And the next time I heard the voice is when my neighbor was bringing me to the hospital when they told me he passed away. And that voice came, and my neighbor was trying to distract me from the sadness, kept saying, oh, and how is this, and how is that? And all I kept hearing is this voice, yes, he is gone, but everything will be all right. And I didn't like that that voice would tell me he was gone, because I didn't believe he was. And everything could be all right. And that was my connection with him.
Tell me about Miami, how it started.
Well, Reuben's sister is Rebecca Spector, you know that. And she was visiting. And Reuben tried to get everyone on the planet to MSIA. When he believed in something, that's what he did. And when Rebecca came, she said, I'm looking for a spiritual teacher. He said, I have one I want you to meet. And long story short, Rebecca had a reading from JR, and JR says, and she said, oh, I'm not going back to Florida. I'm going to stay here in California. And JR said, your work is in Florida. You're going to meet. And he told her about two men, a gay couple, male. And they would bring people to you, and you will do the seminars there, and you will start MSI. And she had a friend named Rama Fox. And a lot of things just went on from there.
Well, that's great to hear that, because I can take it from Rama Fox on.
Right.
And then, so Carolyn Nathan was involved?
That was later. England came a little later, but yes, she was connected to Carolyn Nathan.
That's right.
Yes.
That brought in England, correct? This is the backstory of the movie.
Yeah.
And can you just briefly briefly talk about the Sara meditation without it?
Well, I was at a retreat.
I know you've had to repeat it thousands of times.
Yeah, I won't get into the detail, but I was at a retreat, and there was a lady named Edna Garcia, and she would watch these people hang on to this rope that was tied to 2 trees, and it would swing over what you might call a canyon at Lake Arrowhead. And she was terrified of that. I said, oh, it's no big deal. I'd been on it. No big deal, I told her. So somebody lifted me to grab onto the rope so that I could swing over, and it would come back, and they'd take me down. That's the way I did it before. No big deal. Well, this time I held onto the rope, but I didn't get a good grip. So I let go of one hand to get a better grip, and I couldn't hold my weight as I swung. So I dropped down to the very bottom and rolled the rest of the way. And there are people in the movement that saw this, and they were traumatized for years. They came to me and they told me about it, seeing me bounce all the way like a rag doll. And I was out, and then when I came back to consciousness, I thought, oh my God. I thought I fell, and I thought, leave me alone. I'll just brush myself off, and I'll get up on my own. There was a doctor there, and he said, don't move, don't move. Oh, I thought, I gotta go through this routine. And I thought, my left arm is missing. And I kept saying, where's my left arm? They said, you've got it. I didn't believe them. I knew it was somewhere, but it had been. It was broken in 3 places, so I didn't have any feeling of having the arm, my wrist, everything. But all my organs were bleeding, and it was pretty extensive. But I didn't know all of it at the time. When I got into the hospital, the first thing they said, they brought me up, and it was a Lake Arrowhead hospital. They were not ready to take on such a big situation like that. So they said, oh, she has a fractured skull. And I thought, oh, I don't want a fractured skull, thinking, and immediately they said, they must have made a mistake. You don't have a fractured skull. That would go on and on and on. There was a nurse, someone who was a nurse and was in the movement, and just kept everything that happened. She was with me all the time. She was told to let JR know, and he was on it. Every time they said there was this, there was that, it would disappear. And this went on. And Ruben called JR, and JR said, I'm full-time with Sara. I cannot talk to you now. And because Ruben wanted to let JR know what was happening, but he had already been in Lake Arrowhead. So anyway, that was the start of. So then after surgery for my back, it was broken in several places. The arm in 3 places. All my organs were bleeding, and I was in intensive care and all of that. When I finally got into the hospital, then they were going to put me in a body cast. But before that, I said to Ruben, I was still just flat on my back, could not move. And I said, oh, I sure miss the seminars. He said, well, maybe you could go. And I'm rolling my eyes, typical of Ruben, So I said, well, I can't sit up. How can I go? So there was a lady who came to visit. Her first name was Lorraine, and she was somebody that works in like an undertaker. Has what's the name of the hearse? She said, I have a hearse that if you don't mind going in a hearse, we have the equipment to put you on a gurney, get you in the hearse, and bring you to Prana. And I'm thinking, that's not possible. So I said, no, I wouldn't care. And Ruben said, oh, that would be nice. And I'm thinking, he was a daydreamer, Ruben, and I didn't pay any attention to him. Sure enough, here's the hearse coming in, put me on the gurney, but it was like Cinderella. I had to get back before 12. So the whole time, then when I go into prana, I see a little area roped up. I thought, oh my God, with all the people trying to sit at prana to listen to JR's seminars, I'm taking up all this space with this gurney. You know, I'm flat on my back. There's not much I can do about it. And they have a little place roped off, and they put me right there in the front. And if you ever listen to Sara's meditation, it starts, we're going to do healing meditation, especially for a beautiful friend here today.
Oh, wow.
And
so that's a quick commercial for everybody. Download Sara's meditation. You no longer have to buy the packet that has tapes in it.
It does.
And listen to it. It changed my life. I actually love the
healing meditation.
Just the way JR was so intense on bringing the light.
You know, that tape now is a packet.
Yeah.
And
joyful meditation.
But it has, the joyful meditation. But it has 4 tapes, 4 different seminars on it before it gets to Sara's meditation is at the very end. But every one of them is a healing tape that it's beautiful. The light attunement, and this one and that one, whatever. Beautiful.
Well, is there anything else you want to say?
About that one?
Whatever. Just in closing, I just wanted to say thank you and love you always.
It's been 50 years since my first seminar. It was January of '69. Will be 50 years.
Do you have the date?
That I went to? Yeah. The 29th.
January 29th.
Is the first seminar I went to.
1969.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it just changed my life entirely, and I never let go. Even when I had some things that I thought, what am I doing? Am I really being fooled about this? Is this whatever this is, maybe it's not for me. And that night I had a dream, and I never let go after that one.
Wow.
And that dream was something. And that was JR dream. And he came to me and he said, I said to him, I was leaving. And he said to me, okay, he said, I want to talk to you and your daughter. My daughter and I were at the seminar in this dream. And he said, follow me. And he was going around an area that had a lot of swimming pools. So he had to go around each, and I was following him. And he was holding my hand. Then he dropped my hand, and he just walked across the swimming pool on the water. When he walked on the water, I fell to my knees, and I said, I will never doubt you again. That was it.
Wow.
That was years ago.
So now, almost 4 years after JR passed, how's your experiences? How are you navigating the inner JR around you?
He says
he's also right here, but how are you?
He's been present in my heart, and sometimes it feels even greater. It's almost much more.
I feel that as well. Yeah.
And so he's never left me. I love him. Oh, sure do I miss his little sweet face. Yes, but I don't miss the JR that I know. He's never left me. And for me, it's different for different people, but for me, he never leaves me. Bye.
I love you, Sara.
God bless you.